Eating for work. So it's going to be a short stream today, only going to be about 45 minutes long. So I'm not going to wait too long before I get into it, just long enough to get everything set up and ready to go here. This is episode 2, playing as Ohio in the USA States mod on Hearts of Iron 4. And I'm going to start here in about 30 seconds, just as soon as I'm finished setting everything up. Okay, so I'm going to look over a few things and kind of get it all settled while I'm waiting here. I think we finished off Pennsylvania, and that was where we wrapped it up. So now I've got armies kind of hanging out there that I need to put them where I need them. So let's take a look real quick at the diplomacy map mode so I know who's what. So it looks like all the states I'm at war with are down here. So nobody that I border at the moment, so that's good news. Hey Robert, yeah, I'm actually starting about 45 minutes late. Had a Skype meeting with my office in Colorado for Rachel's challenge. Normally I start at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm only going to be going till about 2:30, just about 45 minutes today. So we can go ahead and let's see. Let's take a look and see who I'm still at war with. The UK, so basically a bunch of foreign powers. No states anywhere close. They're all in the south. So I'm really not even sure where it is I'm going to put my armies right now. I guess I'll just kind of garrison them for the time being. There we go. Hey, Thomas. Yeah, sorry you missed that. It'll be, again, this Sunday at 4. So hopefully you can catch the next one. But so things will settle down here now for my armies. All 34 divisions that I have. And now we'll get working on trying to build up those armies a little bit. Looks like we've got some sabotage going on. So I'm going to have to deal with that. Some Lend-Lease happening, non-aggression, Pact, invade socialist Ontario, your home and native land. Oh, Canada. And it looks like they control eastern Michigan as well. Michigan got divvied up between the Wisconsin Empire, the Hoosier Empire, and the Socialist Republic of Ontario. Senor Hitler. So Hitler apparently did, in fact, go to Argentina and turn into a Spanish-speaking person. So Venezuela's sending me some stuff. So let's take a look at the situation here a little bit. Construction. We're going to have sabotage happening for a while, so I'm going to have to deal with that at some point. Looks like we're a little behind on infantry equipment and artillery. So we can slow down on building these fighters and close air support for now and start working on infantry equipment and artillery again. Hello. What's going on, Pete? How you doing? So I gathered up some resources, so I don't need to trade for as much anymore. It's going to free up some factories for me. Pennsylvania had resources that a lot of the other places did not have. Let's take a look now at the resource map mode. What does Ontario have? Well, they've got quite a bit, actually, especially aluminum and steel. So I can see the benefit of that. There goes my cover. Soviet Union, I'm having a hard time getting what I need from them. How about Can we get it from Utah? Yes, that'll work. An overland route instead of having to go across the seas. So things will quiet down here now. It's been pretty hectic in that first episode with everything that was going on. Of course, I lost 200,000 men in that war, which actually continues. And at some point I may see some of those European powers show up on my shores. But thus far they aren't. I've got 512 political power. I should probably see what I can use that on. And there's political efforts, and now I've got 634. So I'm going to pause for just a second and take a look at things. So here's where I have an opportunity. I'm already, obviously, I've gone down the route of fascism. So it seems to me that it would probably make sense to go that route with my political effort. Well, yeah, it does repair on its own over time, even if you don't have factories that are available. But it does look like it's dedicating factories to it to make it go faster. So I'll show you what I mean by that. If I drop Ohio, the infrastructure down there, okay, yeah, it looks like it is not happening as fast. See right there, health repair daily 1%. If I move it back up here and dedicate those factories to it, it repairs by 7% daily. So it does repair on its own. It just repairs more slowly on its own. And I think that's true for the factories as well. So we've got a bunch of army experience available now. And I want to start building some tanks. Get some armored divisions going. But let's take a look at what those armored divisions look like. It looks like there's a combat width of 12. What is this? A Lend-Lease from... Who is that? Appalachia. That's West Virginia. Okay. So I want to go ahead and add an engineer company to these guys. I also want to go ahead and... What kind of tanks do I have? Because I'm not actually producing any at the moment. So I'm at light tank 1. I don't know if I'm researching the next one yet or not. I'm not. Okay. So let's start producing some tanks. I'm going to slow down my artillery and infantry equipment in favor of building more tanks. And now I need oil, which we'll get from Oklahoma. And I do need to think about where I expand next, but I just have to be at least a little bit cautious of the Allies and what they might throw at me. Back to armor. We're going to go ahead and research light tank 2. And as soon as I develop light tank 2, I'll actually use some of my army experience to develop a variant of that tank to make it more reliable, better armor, better weapons before I start producing those. So I'm not going to produce a lot of armored divisions right off the bat. I'll kind of start slowly with that. Let's go ahead and get these infantry divisions into the field. Of course, everything's garrison duty right now, so everybody's just kind of sitting, hanging out. There's probably some places that I can still get involved in the war through my allies. Hoosier Empire, New Jersey, but again, none of the states I'm at war with, Louisiana and Lone Star, are really accessible to me. They're all down here. All right, we're in 1938. Frederick's Nightmare. So Robert, tell us a little bit about this mod, Frederick's Nightmare. I'm not familiar with it. What's the premise? What's the idea behind that one? Who is excuse me? Who is Maryland allied with Virginia and no one else. All right. Well, maybe Maryland is the next place we expand. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and justify a war goal against Maryland, which is going to take until February. Oh, wow. Only a month. Awesome. Very cool. That's the way to do it. It's if the French won the Franco-Prussian War, so Germany is still split and France dominates and Britain is a republic and the Commonwealth is outside the Entente. That's really interesting. I'm curious about that. So when does it start? Does it start in 1936? So real quick, let's look at diplomacy and see who are considered to be the major countries of the world right now. So Alaska, Appalachia. So does this mean? Yep, I am too. Okay, so a lot of most of the U.S. states, in fact, are considered major countries, I guess. Who doesn't like me? Pennsylvania, obviously. All the ones I'm at war with. All right, Maryland, I'm thinking, should be a relatively easy conquer. Starts in 36, but with a Europe that looks like Victoria 2, more or less. That's really interesting. A lot of great mods out there for this game. All right. Just about 2 weeks left, and we'll be at war once again. So I've got a bunch of decisions I can make here, and I'm just kind of curious as to what they are. Emergency factory conversion. Improved worker conditions. What does that do? Improves my stability, but hurts my factory output. My stability is actually pretty good. It's 74% right now. Alright, let's queue up some more military factories. And then, yep, I guess that's all we got to do. Ohio is a separate state in that one. Interesting. Isn't as good as Kaiserreich, but you put it up there. That's cool. Awesome. All right, let's do this. Let's go after Maryland. I've always enjoyed my visits to Maryland. I live right over here, so I'm about 4.5 hours from Washington, D.C. Things are relatively quiet after a pretty crazy first episode. Florida and North Carolina kind of dominating the southeast of the U.S. All right, we're getting ready to do this. So fascist is at 98% right now for my country, so that's pretty awesome. Pretty much everybody's a fascist in Ohio. And once we get down to militarism, that's going to help a bunch as my recruitable population. Senor Hitler, where are you? Being 7 hours from D.C. All right, here we go. Just hoping a bunch of other countries don't jump in and go to war with me when I invade Maryland. All right, let's do this. All right, pause for a second. We got a few things here. Join requests, join war requests. So my allies are going to jump in on this one too. Oh, somebody can be. Venezuela is now a part of the the Mid-Atlantic Reich. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Reich, Venezuela. Oh, so Senior Hitler, you must be over closer to Michigan, like in the Toledo area, if you're that far from DC. All right, nationalism focus. Oh, not going real well to start here. Let's send some help. Alright, so we can look at separate war summaries here. Some of these wars look like they could be done if we would just deal with Texas and Louisiana. Lots of folks sending me Lend-Lease. We'll overrun Western Maryland here shortly. Maryland's putting up a fight. I wonder if they've got... Now they don't have any forts. No, you keep going there. Alright, let's do this. Let's get these armies going too. I guess we're fighting Virginia and Maryland. This war is not going like I'd hoped so far. But once we break through a couple places, it'll go pretty fast after that. Alright, we can rush some more units into the field. Hey, Joker, how's it going? So far, I kind of stabilized things, and now I just went to war with Maryland and Virginia. While I'm still simultaneously at war with the Allies, but they don't seem to be bothering me all that much. Haha, no, it's not Kaiserreich. Kaiserreich's been done for a while. Adam, how's it going? This is the USA States mod. I am the fascist state of Ohio. And I'm currently at war with the Allies, as well as a bunch of states here in America. Yeah, this is a tough place to fight out here in Western Maryland. A lot of hills and mountains. And you kind of got to get through the get the Laurel Highlands down here, the Appalachian Mountains up here. How's Arkansas? Let's see. They are controlled by Tennessee, the Socialist Republic of Tennessee, except for this little tiny piece that apparently is still theirs, the Arkansas. Nope, that one's socialist. They're controlled too. It's really weird that it's a different color. Might just be a glitch in the map that happens on some of these mods. My goodness gracious, come on, can we just take this place? There we go. William, how's it going? So maybe we gotta break through right here. This is kind of, I guess, Frederick, that area. Frederick, Maryland. Antietam battlefield's down in here. Take these guys, and then we've isolated 9 of his divisions, and we can destroy them. That might be the way to go. Slow going, but it's going. There we go. Venezuela, come on, guys. You canceled your Lend-Lease. Alright, let's take a look at research. We got 18 days for computing machine, 80 days for light tank 2, which I'm going to create a variant of as soon as I'm done with those. I want to start producing a lot of armored divisions moving forward as I get the industrial capacity to do so. What's happening in Europe? Nothing right now. Let's take a look. It's pretty quiet over there. Nationalist Spain has just about won the Spanish Civil War. Yes, I saw your video, Joker. I don't know how to feel about it. A little disturbing. So Germany's been pretty quiet so far. They did remilitarize the Rhineland, but I think that's about all they've done. They're about to do the Anschluss of Austria. So things are moving forward as planned. And obviously, once Germany starts getting frisky with Poland, I shouldn't have to worry about the allies that I'm at war with too much after that. Alright, we've destroyed most of his divisions now. He's just got 2 left. What's going on in Vermont? Let's take a look. Oh, Vermont. New England is staying relatively on friendly terms with everyone else. They're staying out of the wars, I guess, for the most part. Vermont, let's take a look at them. No surprise, in Bernie Sanders' land, they are communist. I know it was candy, Joker, but I was more talking about the disturbing part about you spelling the word Hitler with the letters of the name of the candy. All right, Maryland's going downhill fast now. Let's take a look. I was looking at New England. Let's see what the rest of the region is. We've got a Democratic New Hampshire, a Socialist Republic in Maine. So they're communist. Massachusetts, Democratic. Alright, hold on one second here. And we're a little early on nuclear research. We'll go back to air doctrine. Well, actually, let's look at air for a second. Yeah, we're a little ahead on those. Alright. Oh, Robert, yeah. It just blows my mind that I have 3 of my 4 grandparents have connections to that tree in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. You know, that both of my mom's parents descend from people who were hanged as Tories by Colonel Benjamin Cleveland, very likely from that same tree. And then on my dad's side to have one of my ancestors being the guy who served with Benjamin Cleveland, and from some accounts I read actually was the one who captured my one ancestor who was hanged. But I mean, that's the reality of the Revolutionary War in America. And the Civil War was the same way in places like Kentucky, where it was really, truly, literally brother against brother. So the stuff you see in the movie The Patriot, while fictionalized, seeing things like, you know, obviously, to my knowledge, nobody ever burned a church with an entire village inside. But those were the kind of tactics that were used between the American militia and the Loyalist militia during the war. It was brutal. It was absolutely ugly and brutal. Alright, so Maryland's pretty well out of this. But none of their victory points have been taken. I guess pretty much Annapolis, this territory here, might be all of their victory points. And we're slowly moving into Virginia. We're going to win the war. It's just taking a lot longer than I would have liked. And costing way more men than I would like. Alright, let's see the air power situation. That might help. There we go. The Anschluss of Austria. Well, we knew that was coming. Alright, militarism is going to boost my recruitable population. That'll start making up for my low manpower here. There, we're starting to make some breakthroughs. Once we get through these mountains, I think it'll go a little faster. What are my losses? It's hard to say because the wars have been merged. And so, here we go. You can see I've lost 100,000 men against Maryland and 44,000 against Virginia. So about 145,000 in this particular war. So about even with what Maryland and Virginia have lost. Although it looks like most of the casualties Maryland's been taking have been against the Hoosier Empire, not against me. Wow. So I've lost a lot more than I've inflicted, at least against those two states. Yeah, definitely too many. This war's been ugly. Let's kind of reset the situation here. We'll issue some new orders and get everybody going. Can I explain manpower in this game? No. So manpower is what you have available for reinforcements and for building new units. When that manpower number hits 0, you have no reinforcements. So, for example, let's take a look at some of my existing units. This one here, right now, their organization, there's their fighting strength. They're only at about 65% fighting strength, which means that right now they're missing out on manpower that they need. So their manpower is at 97%. They need 12,000 some odd men. So as I lose men, they get reinforced by this manpower number. The manpower is calculated. You can kind of see there how it's calculated. My total manpower is 1.07 million. And then various factors affect what percentage of manpower you can actually recruit into your army and you have available in this force pool. So what will happen is when I make those changes and I have a higher percentage of recruitable population, the amount of men in my manpower will go up. So a lot of countries like the Soviet Union obviously never really have manpower issues because they've got a ton of manpower. Same with China. Countries with lower population are going to have a harder time building up a large army because they just don't have the manpower for it. And with some of the changes, we made a breakout in Virginia now that we passed the mountains. With some of the changes in the latest update, the Cornflakes update to the game, it used to be that when you made changes to manpower based on events or national focus, it happened instantly. Now it happens over time, so it won't immediately grow by 100 or 200,000 men. When you make a change, it might take months or even years for it to get up to that number. Someone needs to execute a Peninsula Campaign. You're darn right. I need somebody marching up to Peninsula from the other side to deal with them and open up a second front. Maryland will be out of this, I think, as soon as I take Annapolis. It may be that my allies just have to come up from the south and take Richmond and get Virginia out of this first. I'm getting a lot of Lend-Lease from other countries. That's helpful. Alright. More military factories. Yeah, this number right here, this manpower, shows the total available manpower that I can use for reinforcements or for new divisions. If that number hits 0, I have no reinforcements and I can't create new divisions. I can't even put new air units into the field without manpower. As soon as militarism hits, I'm going to get a boost and that number is going to start climbing a little faster. So I've lost 413,000 men total in these wars. 130, looks like about 220,000 or so. Well, 210,000 plus against Maryland and Virginia. Only going to be going for about another 15 minutes here, guys. I got to take my daughter to her drama camp at 2:30, unfortunately. But I'll be back again on Friday at 1 o'clock with the next episode in this series. Whew, brutal war, brutal war. Let's take a look at production here. And trade, I guess we're good on everything right now. We've got a lot of political power available. I really ought to be using that more to my advantage. For example, let's go to a war economy, which is going to drive down my manpower some, because that means I need more people in the factories. Also going to get tank designer. Kaiserreich is over. Yeah, not the last live stream, but the one before that, I was completely overrun as Austria and destroyed. And I just decided, rather than going back and rebooting that one, that I would just try something different for a change. We'll get into another Kaiserreich at some point. I can go extensive conscription if I need to, but I don't think I need to do that right now. All right, so there's my new tanks. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing a few things. I'm not going to produce those yet, because here's what I want to do. I want to go in and actually... I guess that's not where I do that. Hold on. I'm trying to remember how to do this. There it is. Alright, so we're going to go in and create a variant of the light tank too that's more reliable. And has better weapons. So actually I could go more than this. So we'll improve the main guns, we'll improve the armor, improve the reliability. Now, can't quite go that high, but we'll hit 92%, that's pretty good. So Light Tank 2 Mark 1 is what we're going to produce now. And let's go. Führerreich, yeah, that's another one that I'm going to check out. Yeah, Thomas, check it out. I actually made that video a couple of years ago. Thank you, Hoosier Empire. But made some new research discoveries into that situation, and so I went back and found that video and decided to upload it to this channel. Alright, Maryland, come on, let's finish these guys off. Yeah, Janice, we're good here. I'm going to keep this one going as long as I can. Slowly invading Maryland and Virginia. West Virginia is reuniting with her former parent state. Rayward, yeah. As Austria, I got overrun by everybody. It was when I invaded Switzerland, that was it for me. Come on, I think all we need to do is take Annapolis. It's just been really hard to get through those mountains. So the UK's got troops in there, and that's part of the issue, is that they're helping defend Maryland and Virginia. I am, Joker. Yeah, I'm playing as my home state of Ohio. I live right in this area right here. I'm about an hour from Cleveland, and I'm an hour from Pittsburgh. So I'm just halfway in between the two. Stay away from West Virginia or your wife will ban you from watching. Yeah, and I only live about, I don't know, 45 minutes from the northern tip of West Virginia right here. They're one of my allies. This war has been slow going, but we're about to move into the northern part of Virginia, and then hopefully that'll help going after Annapolis. No, Jeff. I am most definitely not, and I think you know that already. My wife, however, very much is a Steelers fan. The only Pittsburgh team I root for are the Penguins. That's because Cleveland doesn't have a hockey team. Alright, whoa, hey, German Reich declared war on Czechoslovakia. I guess they did not allow them to take the Sudetenland. So we're going to start seeing the recruitable population number going up, and then it's going to go up again. How did West Virginia get that odd spur border? I actually... Czechoslovakia joined the Allies, so wait, Germany's at war with the Allies now, right? So yeah, Janice, your wife is from Huntington, West Virginia. Okay, well that makes total sense. Huntington, West Virginia is just south of Pittsburgh. That's right. Or no, Huntington's over here. Dang, I mean that's remarkably close to where my family's from. My family's from Eastern Kentucky, and one of the towns that I stay in when I go down there to visit is Ashland, which is just down the road from Huntington, West Virginia. Alright, let's take a look here because non-aggression pact with the Germans. So I believe now that, okay, the German Reich has come in on my side in this Ohio-Pennsylvania war. So Germany is now at war with the Allies all over Czechoslovakia. So interesting. So we're basically at World War II at this point. We're at 89% world tension. Alright, come on guys. Koblenz in the Rhineland. I'm not sure it shows on this map, but we could take a look. So is it over in this area somewhere? Where would it be as it relates to Frankfurt and Essen? Is it in that area here? Because we can't really get any closer than this. Here's Hanover up here. Alright, how are we doing here? Man, Annapolis, a tough nut to crack. No, go this way. Italy joined the Axis. Yeah, we're kind of slowly merging all these wars into one. Yeah, the Allies will have to fight without a United States for sure. Man, this war is going way worse than I thought it would. Wisconsin's sending 2 divisions to help out. Alright, we're going to go another 5 minutes here, guys, and I'm going to have to wrap this up. All the wars are going in my favor right now, so that's the good news. Alright, what's this? Non-aggression pact with Italy. May not get done with this war before this episode wraps up, because I got to wrap it up here in just a couple minutes so I can get my daughter down to her drama camp. I'm up to over 500,000 in losses now. Jeez, that's crazy. See how many divisions Maryland and Virginia actually have. 17 to 30 and 10 to 25. I've only got 44. But they just haven't lost nearly the men that I have. Yes, drama camp. My daughter's into acting, and yeah, trench warfare is kind of how it feels this is right now. So my daughter takes part in a camp with a bunch of about 50 kids in middle school and high school, and they do a musical. As long as it's not band camp, no, yeah. Yeah, she did band for a couple of years. I was a band nerd from 5th grade through 12th grade. Alright, we're not going to complete this war in this episode, so I'm going to stop right there. And we'll pick up right where I left off next on Friday, which will be in 3 days here. 1 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, which would be New York time if you're keeping track at home. Shouldn't have any reason that I should start late this time, so we'll pick up right there where we left off, go for about an hour or so. Next Union live stream for Ultimate General Civil War will be Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then later today or tomorrow, you should see the first video of the Washington counterattack at the end of my legendary campaign for the Confederates. So thank you guys, and we will see you again in a couple days. Thanks for watching.